Hello and welcome back to All the Mods 9. Last episode, I set up this AE2 network, set up a new room with auto-crafting and auto-crafting processors, and this neat little elevator, along with upgrading my reactor to blazing and achieving another reactor, and automating this little orb. And we went on a giant tangent about the vibranium pickaxe. Now, at the end of last episode, I promised you that I would do actual progression this episode. I have a long list of stuff I want to get done this episode, including progression in several mods that I haven't used at all. Hopefully, this goes well. First on the list, I want to start off by getting deep mob learning up and out of the way. If you don't know what deep mob learning is, or hostile neural networks as it's known in this pack apparently, it is basically an alternative to a mob farm. It'll take these models and produce these predictions that are based on the dimension that the mob spawns in, and these predictions, which is specific to the data model. These predictions can be processed into certain items that the mob drops. Like one we're going for this episode is the Wither. Drops Ender prediction and Wither predictions. These Wither predictions can be made into Nether stars, which is the main goal of DML for right now. But these Ender predictions can also be used to craft into other stuff, mostly end items. And the main lock is this loot fabricator with a netherite ingot. But with the digital miner, we've gotten 57 ancient debris, and that's just what's left over from using them last episode for Almadium. I really just tried that, didn't I? No, we need to put them into the enrichment chamber to double them. Get out of here. With those netherite ingots, we'll be able to make a loot fabricator. I guess we'll make one for now. I don't have any more obsidian. But this is basically just used to process all of these predictions that come from the models. We need a model framework, and it says I should right click on an entity to build a data model. So I guess I may as well go big, huh? So at this point, my audio got corrupted and sounds like this. Now, I don't know if this is a physical problem or is a recording problem. For the most part, I think it's physical. Either way, what I did next was I collected the data models for a blaze, a wither skeleton, and a wither, and went ahead to train up the blaze and wither skeleton to advanced. In order to use these data models, you need to get kills to get it to at least basic tier. So you need a certain amount of kills with that enemy, as you can see in the top left. Next on the list is a room to hold all of the deep mob learning stuff. Well, that was about 5 hours of work, and I don't know how it took so long. Just to go over what I did. A lily pad of fertility.
Lily pad of fertility.
I didn't show this, but this is instrumental to the next part of the video. I set up this alloy smelter and put some recipes in, and got the octotic capacitor for it. I'm still not sure whether it says base modifier 3. I assume it's 3 times the speed as the normal one, but I can't confirm. And back here, I set up this room. Before, there was this entrance, but there was nothing back here. And I set it up to be a nice open space with a lot of room for expansion for DML. And obviously, I only have 3 loot fabricators and 3 machines right now, because those are the only 3 that I need, actually. And let me just quickly go through this process. First, at the simulation chamber, in order to run a data model, you need a prediction matrix, and that'll allow it to produce both predictions. This prediction matrix is crafted over here out of iron, glass panes, clay, and gold. I'm using mechanism because I don't know of a better way without create, and create's massive. So I want to keep this footprint down, so I just put it on AutoCraft. In order for the glass planes, I have back here, I have an export bus exporting fire essence and dirt essence that I've been farming, and that just crafts into sand, is outputted into the smelter to be smelted into glass. Glass is outputted into the second formulaic assemblycator that is crafting it into glass panes and then outputting it into this assemblycator. And this just outputs into a drawer that I put a downgrade on so that I can only have 64 at a time. This is then output onto an item conduit and put into the top of the simulation chambers. I chose to use item conduits because the original plan was to filter the entrance into these loot fabricators, but the Ender IO filter doesn't exist. So there's actually no way to filter Ender IO cables, which is a bit annoying. But, oh well, I've done it at this point, I may as well continue with it, which I am. Yeah, so the basic thought process is, after this simulation is done and the prediction is taken out, it's extracted on brown, and it heads down here, goes under the ground, just so that it's out of the way, and is inputted into this storage bus, this storage controller, on an item conduit, on brown, and then put into this wall of drawers. Now, this isn't everything I'm going to have. I'm going to have to expand this for when I add more simulations, but for now, this is enough. I have Zombie, Wither, and Blaze. I think those are the three that I'm going to need for now. And then just the generalized predictions. Then the item conduit extracts on green, comes back the other way underneath the AE2 cable, comes up the other side, and is inserted on green. This will put the prediction here, and then whatever I chose, like this, to be made out of the predictions, like for blazes I have blaze rods, it will always make that whenever it's put in. And normally I would filter it so that only one prediction can go on each so I can have specified. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but oh well. As of right now, it's sort of just all of them are chosen the same thing. I'm gonna have to make another one for it. It's weird. It's fine for now. I think this pack shouldn't need it too bad. Wait, are we out of power? Oh, sure, it's not an input. No friggin' wonder. Alright, hold on. Alright, there we go. Much better. With this out of the way, in order to get these leveled up, they need to just run, or I get kills, which I'd rather not do. I think that's enough. This means that I have coal, iron, and blaze rods on passive, which is pretty nice, honestly. And these predictions can be made into a ton of different things that I'm going to need later. On to the next part of the video. Coming back to the Lily Pad of Fertility, if you don't know, is a reliquary item. Very powerful one. Alright, I just checked, and yeah, it just turns up the tick rate as far as I know. And it does stack with each other, so the plan of action is to make a room with a bunch of farm for a bunch of different seeds that we need to have, and just surround them with lily pads of fertility. So these will be seeds between diamond, netherite, probably wither star seeds when we get access to them, and the more important one is the inferium essence so that we can get insanium. But before we can mass produce these lily pads, these are crafted with green dye, which we have, rib bones, which you can craft with the loot fab from skeletons. So as far as I know, all of these drops can be. Yes, they can be. So the plan is I need to grab all three of these data models. Oh, look guys, this is cool. Each individual small slime counts as one. So with one large slime, you can get the... Yeah, each individual slime counts towards the progression of models, which is really cool. Alright, I've grabbed the 3 models. I wasn't able to find another slime, but oh well. Grab the 3 simulation chambers and we'll just pop them down. They're all done there now, and they're all going to start running. Now, this should mean that I now actually have access to AutoCraft on them if I set up the recipes. Let's say I want 38. I think that's how much I need. Looks like it's going to take 114 of each of these drops, so it's going to take a little bit. But I do have the cactus, and I do have the lily pad itself, which means we're going to have to wait a little bit. Wait for these to fill up, and it shouldn't be too long. So I'm just going to quickly off camera build the room for it, and I'll catch you back when I'm done with it. Alright, I have finished setting up the mystical agriculture and the room it's in. If we come this way, you see it's a big empty room right now. And we have wall of drawers, a bunch of stuff, and well, this contraption, which honestly doesn't look very good. This is a farm design that I stole from AlfredGG. I'll leave a link to his video explaining how to make this step by step and all the other stuff. Basically, it relies on pretty much abusing lily pad of fertility, as each of these are actually affecting pretty much every seed here. So it causes like insanely fast growth rates, as you see there. And we're using a Supremium Scythe in a modular router to collect all of the resources. Now, one thing to note is that in his design, he has this Supremium watering can. If we go into this create menu, configure, access, if we search up mystical agriculture, go to common, general, right here, fake player watering. This is off by default, which means that this won't work. I turned it on and I still can't get it to work. I don't know what's wrong with it, but oh well. I'll leave it here just so I have the watering can on site. But here's what it looks like with it. It's pretty much instant growth. It's absurd. Honestly, it might be too fast to use it with it. I'm running a full layer of Inferium seeds on, I believe that's Imperium? Yeah, Imperium farmland. And the only reason I'm not using Supremium is because, well, I didn't have it at the time. But if we come over here to the drawers, you can see I already have 262 Insanium. And I left this going while I was editing to see how much I would get, but I think this is more than enough than I'll pretty much ever need, I think. Like, I have no idea how bad the requirements are. Actually, I lied. I'm pretty sure you need, for creative essence, you need Insanium blocks, actually, yeah. And gemstone blocks. Never mind, we're gonna need a lot more Insanium anyways. That's just the temporary farm I did to try to get enough of the essence. So, talking about the seeds we're running netherite, diamond, uraninite, gold, fluix, certus quartz, dirt, nether quartz, emerald, fire, and nature up top there. You know, pretty much all the resources I could need. All I need to do is just add a seed whenever I need it, and I can even just use the Supremium to get a head start on it. This agriculture, as always, is pretty friggin' busted. Although these lily pads are extremely expensive, actually, because I needed like 300 or so for this, remember correctly. Honestly, it's worth it though. The amount of essence I'm getting is crazy. Now, you may notice that the Inferium essence is actually leaving. Well, that's because if I come down here, I've got this little setup. I've got that panel, storage bus on the storage drawer, and I also got this RF Tools crafter. And I'm basically just using it to use a master infusion crystal and take every essence that we get up to Insanium, and then put it back in the drawer system. And, I mean, there's obvious reasons why I'd want to do this. Because it requires a crystal to craft up. In order to craft down into Supremium essence, it's just a shapeless craft. So I have all the recipes set up. I have all the recipes set up in AE2, where it's basically just shapeless craft all the way down to essence again. Very good setup. I really like it. It's awesome, fantastic. And in order to collect everything, we just have a modular router with a vacuum module. And since it is claimed, you're going to need to use a security upgrade to allow it to work in your claim. That is on purpose, I believe. So if this doesn't work for you after following the video I've linked, put security upgrades and everything, and it should work. I do think that is all the time I have for this episode. Well, thank you all for watching. I had a lot of fun making this episode, even though a lot of it was off camera. My school year is actually starting, so I might not be able to post as much, but I'm hoping to at least get an episode out each week. And if I post every week, it'll be a little bit longer than this, hopefully. With all that out of the way, I would like to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of All the Mods 9.